Going top 5 as the sun sets here in Chicago. The Cubs leave the Cardinals 6-4 on Sunday Night Baseball. Moments ago, Buster Olney with Cardinal manager Mike Matheny.
Like Michael Wacha was rolling along there. What do you think a pivotal moment was in that inning becoming unraveled?
Yeah, I'd like to have had maybe strike 3 right there maybe against Montero. But besides that, he's been throwing the ball well. Establishing the bottom of the zone like we talked about. Changeup's been good. They've just capitalized and obviously making mistakes. Whether it's too much at the plate or it's in the field, those are going to add up.
Stephen Piscotty, his first home run since April 15th. How big is that for him?
Yeah, I think just getting him into a positive spot, getting him back into the groove of being in here every day. He's a good hitter, and he's got a big season ahead of him. A little slow starting, but that was big timing, and we got to get back after it.
Mike, thanks.
Piscotty with a 3-run home run for the Cardinals, but Ian Happ with 2 homers, a solo shot and a 3-run shot for the Cubs, who lead 6-4 now in this back-and-forth affair. And here's former Cub Dexter Fowler leading off the 5th against a new pitcher for the Cubs, right-hander Justin Grimm.
Grimmer's a big 4-seam fastball guy, big 12-6 breaking ball, pretty much a 2-pitch pitcher. Struggles at times when he loses his fastball command, but when he gets one there. He gets that ball down in the zone. He can run it up there pretty hard, and then in the mid to high 90s, and he's got a really, really tough breaking ball to hit. Dexter's probably going to see a few of those here.
And when he's right with that breaking ball, that really plays as a great pitch against even lefties.
Joe loves to use him against lefties when they try to play the matchups. He likes to bring him in because he's really good against both righties and lefties.
Fowler's flied out and walked, stolen a base and scored. Came in on the Piscotty home run. Check the swing, and it misses down and away. The appeal to third, and no swing. Cubs at 27-27. The Cardinals at 26-27. The leaders in the National League Central, the Milwaukee Brewers, at 30-27. A game and a half up on the Cubs. That time he went. It all starts here. The 2017 Major League Baseball Draft. Coverage begins Monday, June 12th on MLB Network and MLB.com. All right, David, give us your draft day story. What do you remember about when you were drafted?
I was at the College World Series. We had just lost. I was flying back, and we landed in the airport in Atlanta, and got a phone call. I had to go call the scout. Back then, I don't even know if there was cell phone. They had to go find a pay phone. But I called the scout, and I got drafted in the 7th round by the Dodgers, who also drafted me out of high school. Special time, man. You think about, I never was like Boone, you probably did. I never dreamed of playing in the big leagues. I just tried to continue to play baseball because I love to play it. And, it just was a lot of fun for me to have just gone back to the College World Series and then to get drafted. And, you don't really know what that means at the time. And I never thought all that's happened to me, it was going to happen to me. But when you get that call and you realize you're going to be with a certain organization, it's pretty cool.
I remember it like it was yesterday. Had a few friends over to the house hoping for that call to come on the first day, hopefully in the first couple of hours, and got a call from the Reds that they had taken me in the 3rd round, and to be there with family and friends kind of celebrating a moment in your life that I did dream about, and the thought of Riverfront Stadium popping in my head and playing in potentially in that stadium one day was really exciting to me.
Swing and a miss. Carpenter gone, 2 down. Back-to-back strikeouts for Grimm here in the 5th.
I grew up a fan of baseball in the 70s and 80s, and my dad playing at Veteran Stadium. So the old cookie-cutter stadiums that everyone complained about,
that worked for you.
They were the greatest thing in the world to me. That was nostalgia for me. So the opportunity to go play in Riverfront and Busch and Three Rivers and Veteran Stadium, I mean, that was like the ultimate. Those turf bomb fields was the ultimate for me.
To this day, David, Aaron can see any picture from any ballpark, a close-up like of a chair, and he can tell you what ballpark.
Well, that's the thing. You have a different perspective when you're around Boone because he's lived in these environments his whole life, from a kid to his profession to now after his career and to this career. It's like this is home for him. He comes in here, he's very comfortable in every situation, every locker room, behind the cage, talking about the bullpens, talking with the pitchers, talking with the hitters. He's very, very at home, and it's his life. It's pretty cool.
Batter Stephen Piscotty, who homered his last time up,
Although I don't know what it's like to be a rock star walking out to the booth at Wrigley Field with security.
Me either, but I'm getting used to it.
Oh, Boone, stop. Yankee Stadium, come on.
Right?
Let's go.
I got a story for that. Oh, I'm
not quite that, but not quite what I just saw right there.
I got a story. I was sitting with Jed, our GM for the Cubs, and yesterday in the game, and he said he saw Boone after Game 6 in Cleveland, and he said the last guy I want to see was Aaron Boone before Game 7. That's right. The last guy. He said I got nightmares thinking about Boone going deep off weight.
He was with the Red Sox, Aaron with the Yankees in the 2003 American League Championship Series. Strike at the knees and a full count on Piscotty.
Listen, when you're talking to Joe Torre the other day on TV, and he goes, Boone, talking about all the great teams. I'm like, that's pretty cool. Joe Torre going, yeah, remember you were there, Harry, you were there.
Hey, both of you guys have some pretty cool moments that you can
no doubt.
that you can savor the rest of your lives. Grimm, the 3-2.
Well, another look at that Stephen Piscotty home run that at the time gave the Cardinals the lead. They try to run that two-seam fastball into him, but a really good swing. Again, with that wind blowing in, Piscotty rides it out of here. And a guy that is critical to the success of the Cardinals with his ability and potential at the plate.
Grimm challenges him again at 97 miles an hour. Piscotty fouls it off. Eighth pitch of the at-bat upcoming here to Piscotty. Another fastball and another foul back. So how do you decide, David? You're catching Justin Grimm, which you did on a number of occasions. Fastball, fastball, fastball. How do you decide when to mix it up, go to the curve?
You know, that four-seamer's getting just above Piscotty's barrel, and so you don't want to walk him. I think that's where Miggy's set up right down the middle and wants that thing just to ride up. But that breaking ball is tough to throw for a strike in this situation. That's why right there. You didn't want to walk him.
Misses with the curveball and puts him on to bring up Jed Jerko, who's had a really nice year for the Cardinals, hitting for average, hitting for power, playing a solid third base. Let's take a look now at StatCast powered by AWS. And Mike Matheny telling us before the game what's taken Jerko to the next level is his ability this year to hit the ball with authority to the opposite field.
It really has. When he first came up with the Padres and showed that promise and showed the power that he most certainly has, it was pull power. But now showing the ability to drive the ball out to all fields, an outstanding high ball hitter. And it's been a great start to this season and looks like he's really starting to find a defensive home also at third base.
But you know as well as I do that when you're catching and calling a game, safety's supposed to be away, and when a guy's driving the ball to the opposite field with power, that's their slug. And now I got to go in, which is the hardest thing to do, is pitch in consistently in the big leagues. And one, you don't want to hit a guy. One, if you leave it over the middle, that's probably another power spot. They're driving the ball to the opposite field. You got nowhere to go. So then it becomes off speed. Now you're behind in the count. Now you try to go down the way. They're hitting homers to the opposite field. It makes it really tough to call a game.
30 home runs at 400 at bats last year for the Cardinals, and good power numbers with the Padres prior to that. But driving the ball more to the opposite field this year than he has in the past. Grimm locates right down to the knees.
Miggy's doing a great job at that one low. I know Gooch didn't give him the corners, but he's really stopping that ball at the bottom of the zone. That K zone shows you his glove is stopping it right when it crosses the plate at the bottom, and you need those pitches. If you got a bad catcher back there that takes those down out of the zone, he could be 3-0 right now.
Got him to chase on the curveball, and that'll end the inning. A 2-out walk, but nothing more. Go to the bottom of the fifth. The Cubs leading 6-4.
There he is.
Ross walking down the field. Boone capturing it.
I'll give you that later.
Okay, I picked out my dream car. Now's the really fun part. Choosing the color, the wheels, the interior, everything exactly how I want it. Here's the thing. Just because I configured this car online doesn't mean it really exists at a dealership. But with TrueCar, I get real pricing on actual cars in my area. I see what others paid for them, and they show me the ones that match the car I want. So I know I can go to a TrueCar certified dealer, and it'll be right there waiting for me. Today, right now. This is TrueCar.
Save on pet food and supplies at Chewy.com.
I love shopping for my pets at Chewy because the prices are amazing. I have a big family, so saving money is important. At Chewy, we save on the dog's food, the cat's litter, and all of their toys and treats. Plus, it's delivered right to our door, and the shipping is free. The pets love the box, and we love the savings.
Save 20% on your favorite brands and get fast free shipping today. Shop online now at Chewy.com.
The NBA Finals. Stream every game live on the ESPN app. Download the ESPN app today.
I joined the Army in July of '98. I did active duty 11 years and 2 in the reserves.
Our 18-year-old was in an accident. When I call USA, it was that voice asking me, is your daughter okay? That's where I felt relief.
It actually helped to know that somebody else cared and wanted to make sure that I was okay. That was really great.
We're the Rivera family, and we'd all be with USAA for life.
USAA. We know what it means to serve. Call today to talk about your insurance needs.
You don't have enough money.
What?
I'm not gonna look my daughter in the eye and tell her she can't go to college.
We start the casino. 4 years of tuition in 1 month.
Hit it! And I lost! Yeah!
I mean, oh, tough break.
So let's do this. We gotta invite everybody.
We'll be working late every night.
I just can't help but feel like you're lying.
We love you so much, but you need to shut up.
What did you just say?
So hard being a parent.
The House, rated R, June 30th.
Welcome back to Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, presented by Taco Bell. Sold out crowd, beautiful night, Wrigley Field, Cardinals and Cubs. In the final game of a 3-game series, the Cubs looking to sweep.
Kind of digging that sun down right now, huh?
Kind of digging it too.
That breeze, the breeze is nice now. This is baseball
David
weather.
was getting a little swampy over there. That back sweat was creeping up.
Catcher. Yeah. We sweat from the waist down. It's scary, right? My socks are wet right now.
Just setting behind the stands down the left field line. Wind continues to blow in here at Wrigley. Anthony Rizzo, the batter, and he drives the ball. Left center field, well hit and off the wall on the fly. Big carom back in towards the infield, and Rizzo's going to head to third and be tagged out.
Jack set him up right there. Watch Dexter Fowler. This ball, he plays this ball perfectly. Ball off the wall. Dex understands it's either out of here or off the wall. Sees Riz, knows where he starts jogging. Sees Riz go and throws strike on the money. Nice play by Dexter Fowler. Right here. Boom. One hot, perfect throw. He's out.
You're saying set him up by not going after it all that hard to bait him to go to third.
Yeah.
He could throw him out.
He jogged after that ball. He was in cruise control. He was under control the entire time.
I'm saying whoops a daisy. I'm saying good job in not panicking.
He did a good job. I think he set him. If you ask him, he set him up. Riz knew. Riz wanted to test him. They're boys. He's going to get him over there. Dex is looking in the stands right now. He knows.
That's the swing, though, that, you know, we talked about Schwarber and that home run he hit in yesterday's ball game to left field. Rizzo going the other way with authority there off the wall. That is something he was working on out on the field today before batting practice, and just kind of working and hitting the ball the other way and trying to keep his bat in the hitting zone and through the ball. So you see Fowler and Rizzo laughing at each other.
I told you, Riz wanted to be like, I ran on you, and Dex like, no. He set him up. He knew. They know each other's egos. That's the one thing about playing with another guy. You know what that guy's thinking.
Threw some bait out there.
Yeah.
So it's a double for Rizzo, and then Fowler credited with the outfield assist. 8-5 on the putout. And here's Ben Zobrist, who will draw the walk.
People forget, Dex knows this stadium. He's played here for 2 years, and so right there, no panic, like you said, Boone. One hop, exactly what you want as an infielder, right there. Great tag, getting the leg. Riz, good hustle. Good hustle.
Well, that's what I can ask you. I mean, you never want to make the first or last out of an inning at third base. So is this a mistake by Rizzo or just a good gamble that didn't pay off?
I'm against all those. I've seen the baseball rules, the rules of the game kind of come and go, and I'm all about if you can get to third as soon as you can get to third, go. I understand maybe not making the last out, but the first I don't mind as much. You're trying to get into scoring position for your teammates.
Here's a look at it. Drives the ball the other way and thinking maybe this might ride out. But remember, we talked about the wind blowing in, so this ball stays in the park. And at this point, he probably thinks he's got it easy, even though he kicks it into high gear. In the end, it's just perfect execution by Fowler, who I think messed up the plate originally, but then calmly finished it off. And I will say a mistake by Rizzo to make that first out at third.
And with a couple of left-handed batters due up, that's going to be all for Michael Wacha. He is done to the fifth as Mike Matheny goes to the pen for Tyler Lyons.
Well, I love it. This piece is so you. I know, right? I saw it and I was just like, oh, I have to have it.
Is it suede?
It's suede. Love suede.
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments, there's one of these.
Well, I love it. This piece is so you.
I know, right? I saw it and I was like, have to have it.
Is it suede?
It's suede.
I love suede.
That's why we're there with renter's insurance when things go wrong, but also here with a rewards credit card to help life go right. State Farm.
It's not our blood that binds us. It's that beast inside of us. The monsters we keep. Welcome to the Brotherhood of Muscle.
Right now, get $3,250 total cash allowance on 2017 Dodge Charger models.
Hi, I'm Paul. People ask why I switched to Sprint. Well, their network reliability is within 1% of the big guys, and they have the best price for unlimited among national carriers. And wait, are you watching this on the awesome iPhone 7? You gotta get iPhone 7 from Sprint, and they'll give you a second one on them. What are you doing? Go switch to Sprint.
Who's he talking to?
I don't know, but I'd better go to Sprint.
Wait.
2 iPhone 7s! Love you!
Get Sprint Unlimited, and now get iPhone 7 on us.
We just got the keys to our new house. Got the keys.
This is exciting. We've got our own house. Yay! I'm sorry.
You like it, dear Maddie?
I love you.
I love you too.
Play Ball is MLB's initiative to inspire all forms of baseball and softball participation, and making play opportunities available and fun for everyone. To learn more, go to playball.org. This is the second annual Play Ball Weekend, designed by Major League Baseball to celebrate youth baseball and softball participation in communities throughout the United States and Canada. And you can see patches on the jerseys of the players. We've got them on. Everybody's on board. Love to have kids playing baseball and softball. Pitching change. Tyler Lyons into the game for the Cardinals.
Well, Lyons on for the 7th time now, and this is a real opportunity for him to create a role for himself, a significant role in a Cardinal bullpen that for the most part has struggled. Fastball 2 and 4 seams, usually in the upper 80s. Heavy dose of sliders, and then a changeup he'll use mostly to righties. There's the slider, pretty well located and doesn't get the call.
This guy's been around with the Cardinals since 2013, up and down every year. Has been a starter, has been a reliever. One of 3 lefties in the bullpen right now for Mike Matheny. 74 pitches. Michael Wacha comes out, 4 1/3, walked 4, gave up 5 runs in the 4th inning. He's given up a couple of home runs and 2 lefties due up. This was the spot, I guess.
Yeah, it came out of the gate looking really good, pounding the bottom of the strike zone with that fastball to set up his other pitches, but felt like last inning started to flatten out, getting some more balls up, and some real good swings from Cubs hitters the last 2 innings, and perhaps Matheny sensing that he was losing some of that stuff. Now a spot here with back-to-back lefties to try and get out of this inning, sensing a critical time in this game in the middle innings.
I mean, we'll never know, but we don't know about, you know, that the 2 outs. The 2 outs, getting that third out is always that mental break, and then they score all those runs, and you come back out in a double that you get picked up from your center fielder, and then a walk. You know, Mike's thinking, you know, he's probably running out of gas. Those extra hitters facing after 2 outs. Can't lose that mental focus.
Ground ball to second. Nice pick by DeYoung, and he'll get the out on Hayward as Zobrist takes second.
Well, let's take a look at Michael Wacha's night. We talked about him wanting to keep the ball down, and early on we saw mid and high 90s fastballs and a lot in the bottom of the zone. That set up his cutter, his curve, and his changeup. But then he started to flatten out, especially last inning where Happ took him deep. Here at 94 out over the plate where Rizzo rode the ball off the wall. Had a nice play out there to retire him at third, but perhaps just running out of gas here in the middle innings for the Cardinals. And you see him a little frustrated because the night got off to such a nice start for him the first few innings.
First time through the order, all he gave up was a single and a walk, and he struck out 4, but it was a much different story from that point on for Michael Wacha tonight. There's Miguel Montero, who has struck out and walked and scored. Both starting pitchers tonight really struggling with their command, Hendricks and Wacha. Hendricks walked 3 in his 4 innings, and Wacha walked 4 in his 4 1/3.
And those are the most frustrating things, the walks as a catcher, you know, especially on a team where both teams' offense, you're trying to find it. You know, there's been some runs scored today, but when you give them those free passes, it drives you nuts as a manager, as a teammate, especially as a catcher, you know. And I think maybe some of that, like we talked about earlier, maybe some of the strike zone from the umpire, and some of that maybe lack of execution.
Runner at second, 2 down, bottom 5, and the Cubs looking for a sweep, leading the Cardinals 6-4. Ground ball to first, and that'll be that. Through 5 here at Wrigley. Cubs 6 and the Cardinals 4.
It's not how fast you mow, it's how well you mow fast.
It's not how fast you mow, it's how well you mow fast.
It's not how fast you mow, it's how well you mow fast. It's not how fast you mow, it's how well you mow fast.
They're not just words to mow by, they're words to live by. The John Deere Z-Track Z345R with the Excel Deep Deck to mow faster, better. Save $500 on the Z525E Z-Track residential mower at your John Deere dealer today.
This Father's Day, get Dad a gift that matters from Dick's Sporting Goods. Buy one, get one free Top Flight Bomb or Schlesinger Raw Distance golf balls. Get him some slides, sandals, Crocs, or water shoes and get a second pair for half off. Select men's Adidas apparel is now buy one, get one half off. Buy one, get one 50% off select styles from Under Armour. Bring out his inner outdoorsman with a Quest canopy for $49.98 or a Trailblazer kayak now only $199.98. Can't decide? Get him a Dick's gift card. Go to Dick's Sporting Goods or visit Dicks.com for more amazing Father's Day gift deals. Every season starts at Dick's.
I believe computers are important in design, but it's the human touch that creates design with feeling, creating a form that appeals to your heart.
Why are we so passionate about perfecting designs by hand? Because driving matters. Introducing the all-new Mazda CX-5.
Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, presented by Taco Bell, is brought to you by John Deere. Nothing runs like a deer. And Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's. We have had some home runs tonight. Stephen Piscotty with a 3-run homer for the Cardinals, and Ian Happ with 2 home runs for the Cubs. And the Cubs lead the Cardinals 6-4 as we go top 6 here on Sunday Night Baseball. The Cardinals a game under 500. The Cubs right at 500. They're both looking up at the Brewers and just ahead of the Pirates and Reds. The entire division separated by just 4 games right now as Hector Rondon enters the game for the Cubs.
Hector Rondon, the former closer of this Cubs team, on to the 23rd time. Worked a scoreless inning in yesterday's ball game. Pretty good strikeout to walk ratio, decent numbers overall, but they want to get him back to being the dynamic reliever he really was for a couple of seasons with this club. Fastball mid-90s and a slider.
A lot of options in that bullpen for Joe Maddon. Could go Rondon to Uehara to Edwards to Davis, depending on how Joe Maddon wants to structure it the rest of the way. Still a ways to go in this one. Yadier Molina leads it off for the Cardinals. He has flied out and struck out.
I want to see Ronnie get back to that fastball command down and away. He was we're talking about angles from Waka. He's another guy that the four seam just kind of is planing out and not right there.
And Molina is going to drop it in fair down the line, and he's aboard with a leadoff single.
That's the kind of pitch that ball's a ground ball if it's got any kind of angle to it. But you see it's flat, running in on Yadi. Right here, fastball count, throwing hard, but this ball comes right back over the middle. Yadi's able to jam that ball, stay inside of it, and throw it over the first baseman's head.
And even though he's beat there and he's jammed, it's because of the flatness of that pitch just coming across the plate that it gives it a chance to be a knock.
If he's got any kind of angle there, it's a ground ball to first or second base.
So leadoff man aboard for the Cardinals in the 6th. Tommy Pham is up. He is grounded out and struck out tonight, 0 for 2.
And remember last year when the Cubs went out and got Aroldis Chapman, it wasn't because Hector Rondon wasn't a dominant closer. He was for the better part of a year and a half. They were just adding to it. Then he had the injury and just never got back on track late in the season and was not a real big factor in the postseason. But if they can lock him in, to David's point, to find that command, he can become an impact reliever again for Joe Maddon.
Up and in, 2 balls and a strike on Pham.
When he's behind the ball, you see that front side flying up, and that's why he loses control, and it flies up and in. I think Miggy's going to go slow him down. Right, yeah. Visit from Boz right here. Get him back mechanically in sync. Slow things down. But gives him more time.
Maybe a time in a 2-1 count here. Maybe even to mix in a slider just to slow him down a bit.
Just a show me slider, right? Yeah. Sometimes as a catcher, to your point, you want to call some off-speed stuff just to slow down the pitcher and his mechanics. Let him take a little off. Take a step back with maybe an off-speed pitch to dump it in.
You said when he's behind the ball. Tell us what you mean.
Yeah, well, that front side starts flying out, and I know we talk a lot of pitching mechanics at times, but you know that front side starts flying out, and the back side of your arm is just, it's lazy, and your hand gets underneath the ball, and it tends to run up and in, as you saw to Pham right there. When you're behind the ball, and like we're talking about with Waka being on top, you're able to pull down with that front side and get that angle, and it's pretty much 96, 97 down away to anybody is a good pitch.
So that's where you might tap your shoulder or something to say it's kind of the universal you're flying open sign.
Yeah. I did a lot of like stay in the tunnel. You know, look at this his front arm. You can see it a little bit here. It'll come open right here. He's uphill, and got to get back over top a little quicker. Maybe some guys shorten their stride. Some guys want to stay in that.
Runner going, throw down, and safe at second. How about that? Yadier Molina steals a base.
Well, we talk about some of the intangibles. Obviously, Yadi realized something. Rondon paying absolute zero attention to him. The big leg kick. Yadier Molina in a 2-2 count, guessing that, hey, we'll put the fastball in play, but anything else might be a chase pitch and a good pitch to run on. And down 2 runs, he gets himself into scoring position.
And that's one thing about, you know, being in division. You know, guys that are slow to the plate, especially when they come in early. When you're coming in the 6th, you know, usually not an inning that Ronnie comes in, but you know division, you know those guys that are slow to the plate, and you got Miggy who doesn't quite throw as well as Wilson.
And you see him struggling with his command. You know Yadier Molina is going to be a non-factor for him at first. That's the last thing he's thinking about. Yadi goes to school on that.
And after a meeting from the bench, That definitely is the last thing on your brain as a pitcher and a catcher is like, we can't throw strikes, and we just had a meeting. I'm forgetting about Yadier Molina at first.
Right.
I'm going to worry about the hitter.
But don't you love the guys who don't have great speed, but they will sneak one every now and again? That's 4 this season now for Yadier Molina.
That's 51 in his career, guys.
It reminds me of his old teammate, Albert Pujols, who hasn't had speed at any point in his career, but has always been that guy who could take an extra base, steal a base, maybe when you weren't expecting it in a big spot.
I like to call those guys baseball players. Yes, I love to see those guys. Watching the game, analyzing any way they can take advantage of another team's weakness or laziness.
So 2 on with a nobody out. The Cardinals threatening. Paul DeYoung, the batter. Albert Pujols, by the way, obviously better known for his power than his speed.
Yep.
Hit career home run number 600 last night, becoming the 9th player in baseball history to hit 600. Hit 445 of those 600 as a member of the St. Louis Cardinals before he moved on to the Angels. And both of you guys played against him extensively. That one will bounce off the arm of Montero. A wild pitch thrown by Rondon, and the runners will advance.
Now I get to talk a little catching here. This is nice. Ball in the dirt here. Miggy can't quite get around. He pulls a slider, just a spike, straight down away. You know, tries to get down there, can't get his body in front. That's just a poor execute. I mean, it's in the other batter's box. Couldn't get squared. He's trying to turn right there, get his body back towards home plate, and just can't get around it enough. It's pulled too hard, too sharp.
2-2. And a ground ball to short will get a run home as Molina comes in, and that makes it 6-5. Here's a look at the MLB calendar on ESPN this week. Tomorrow night, 2 of the top teams in baseball, the Nationals and the Dodgers, meet at 10 o'clock Eastern time. We've got a Thursday night game for you this week. The Red Sox and the Yankees at 7 Eastern, and 1 week from tonight it'll be the Red Sox hosting the Tigers on Sunday Night Baseball. Pedro Strop is now up in the pen. What do you think? Different bullpen situation here at Wrigley from what you're used to. No more down the lines. Now they got these fancy ones under the bleachers.
Yeah, it's weird for me. I like to watch guys warm up and see what's going on. I can't see what's going on, and you know, they put them behind that wall. I think the guys like the AC or the heat when it was cold out here, and the AC when it's hot. But you know, I think it was probably a little cooler for the fans with them on the field.
Have you heard anything from the relievers, either of the Cubs or the visitors, where it kind of takes away from the atmosphere? All of a sudden you're warming up essentially in a cave, and then it's out into this boisterous atmosphere. And
no noise. They talk about the environment of the stadium and hearing the cheers, and you're more watching on TV, and it sounds like it's a pretty soundproof booth in there. So and the sound of the pop of the mitt, all those things sound different inside of there. So you get out here, may not feel like you're throwing as hard, or and then you get in this environment, and you know, it's like you're amped up a little more than being inside, like throwing in the cage.
I know they've talked about actually pumping in some sound from the crowd into those into the bullpens, because they felt like that's something that's missing.
Aledmus Diaz, the batter, a walk and a double tonight. As Rondon is right over the outside edge with a slider, that makes it 2-1.
I would think as a reliever, when you're getting warmed up to go into a ball game, part of getting warmed up is being outside, feeling the crowd, feeling the environment, and all of a sudden it's a complete change of environment when you run out to take your warm-up pitches.
Well, coming from a guy who has a 0 ERA and two innings in the big leagues,
right.
I threw one in Milwaukee. I came in, I threw in the cage and warmed up, and I got out there to the mound and was like, what the heck have I got myself into?
So it's no issue.
That was no big deal. But then I warmed up here, and I couldn't wait to get in the game because I didn't want to stand. I couldn't, you know, out there in front of all the fans. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't like standing up here on this bump. Let me get out there. It was awful.
Was that as nerve-wracking as anything you did in baseball?
Worst thing ever.
Really?
Worst. There's big guys up there with bats, and I'm lobbing it in there at 70. That's scary.
His first homer was off a guy.
That's right.
Position player.
There you go, Buster.
Mark Grace.
Mark Grace.
I was hoping he'd make it to the Hall of Fame, at least for the Cubs. You know, like I took a Hall of Famer deep.
Took another Hall of Famer deep.
Oh man. He roasted me running around the bases too. I'll never forget. He ripped me. We did a radio show the next morning, and he did all the talking. I just laughed the whole time. He
probably bonded you guys together forever.
He was great about it.
Yeah.
3-2. And lined into left center, and that ball's going to get all the way to the ivy. Pham in to score easily to tie the game on an RBI double by Diaz.
Well, this is a great sign for the Cardinals, who have gotten offensive production up and down the lineup. But remember, Aledmys Diaz, such an important part of their offense a year ago. It's been a little bit of a slow start for him, getting to be a little bit of a free swinger, but 3 outstanding at-bats tonight. He worked a walk in his first at-bat against Hendricks, doubled in his last at-bat against Hendricks, and there you get a good look at that bat speed from the side. Even though in slow-mo, that ball is laced up the gap. And I just think this guy's too talented of a hitter to struggle for too long. I think eventually he becomes a real impact for this offense. 3 good at-bats tonight.
He's the game changer for me in their lineup. When he's swinging the bat well with his thump, he's got some serious power. He gives you good at-bats and not striking out. He's the guy that's the difference maker that makes their lineup so much deeper.
Joe Maddon on his way out to the mound. Looks like Wilson Contreras is coming into the game as well. Will be a double switch for the Cubs as the Cardinals have scored 2 runs here to tie it in the 6th inning.
Don't. Not again.
Swan Drive. Seen it, covered it. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Memorial Day savings at the Home Depot lets you save on top-rated power, more colorful gardening, healthier growing, and more ways to get grilling for a lot less. Make the most of your Memorial Day with great savings like these. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
Apparently, the picture is worth 1,000 words. The award-winning 4K displays from Vizio.
It's a nail-biter here in Indy.
No OT tonight. Ball game.
With the smooth finish.
Real smooth.
When you got flow, you know. New Gatorade Flow. All the flavor with a new smooth finish.
Oh, snap.
Every truck guy has their own way of conveying powerful.
Yeah, boy.
Kind of looks like a monster coming to eat you.
Holy smokes. That is awesome. Strong.
You got the basic and you got the beefy.
I just think it looks mean. Incredible. No way. Getting goosebumps.
Get 17% below MSRP on all Silverado 1500 LT pickups in stock. That's over $8,100 on this Chevy Silverado. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
The Celtics call us chokers and fakers and sissies.
We had no respect for him. None.
What if I told you winning was the only thing that mattered? ESPN Films presents Celtics Lakers Best of Enemies, June 13th and 14th on ESPN.
Vote today, vote tomorrow. Vote for your 2017 All-Stars with the Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot. Vote at MLB.com/vote and catch all of the excitement of the 88th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard July 11th live on Fox. Back at Wrigley, tied at 6. Changes. Wilson Contreras now into the game on the double switch. Put him in the 8th spot, and the new pitcher is Pedro Strop.
Fastball slider. Almost 50-50 with those 2 pitches. That fastball will be in the mid-90s. Command can be an issue at times. You see on for the 24th time those 10 walks in 17 2/3 inning. But when he's throwing it where he wants, an electric arm.
And the pinch hitter for the Cardinals is Greg Garcia, who's very experienced at this, utility infielder. Now, Jose Martinez had been out in the on-deck circle to pinch hit. We believe that Martinez was announced into the game, and then Joe Maddon made the change, and now it's Garcia. And Garcia, a guy, well, David, let me ask you. You were there. I mean, what kind of a hitter. He's not a big name. He doesn't have a lot of pop, but there's a phrase that Aaron used sometimes, a professional hitter. Greg Garcia is that, isn't it?
He's going to give you a professional at bat, as well as a guy like John Jay that is now with the Cubs, used to be with the Cardinals. He's going to stay inside the baseball. He's going to work the middle of the field. He's got some thump. He takes away the slider from Stropey. He's going to make sure he throws strikes. Like he's going to have his at bat. And like Boone said, a professional hitter, a professional AB.
No, that's like Dan said. You know why he's going to give you a professional at bat? Because he's a professional.
Okay. He better. He won't be here, right? That's what. If you don't like it, play better. We say that a lot, right? Like you get these guys that don't give you a professional at bat, they won't be here long.
Diaz out at second. Just one out in the inning, and the Cardinals have scored twice this inning to tie it. Now, why would you say he takes the slider away from Stroh?
Well, he's got that. He's got that the smaller guy, and he didn't want the left-handed hitter coming into him. I'm just meaning a better pitch for him to see from the left side. So he doesn't take it away. Stropey will still use it, but Stropey's got a splitty he'll use a little bit against guys like this. But he's got to get ahead. He's 2-2 right now. There's that comeback too soon.
And he got him looking 2 down.
He knew it.
Let's go back and take a look at some of what went wrong maybe for Hector Rondon out there.
Yeah, Ronnie, just that ball leaking back over the middle. We talked about it earlier. When he's commanding that fastball down away, that lower quadrant of the box, he's almost unhittable, and that slider works off that. Right there, you've seen every pitch runs back over the middle. You just can't have that. It's a barrel finder. We call those ones that leak back over.
And that's the guy, Rondon, that they've got to find him, because he's capable of being such an impact reliever at the back end of this strong back end of a bullpen. And when he was right for that couple of years when he was the closer, it was the command along with the stuff was impeccable almost.
No doubt. And I don't know if part of me, and knowing him a little bit, the adrenaline of being the closer was always good for him. He liked that adrenaline. He liked that rush. I think that just had him just, kind of the bayou fastball he wanted to throw. He wasn't scared of anything. And when you get out there and start trying to pitch, that's not in your repertoire. It's not a good idea.
Fowler grounds out. That'll end the inning. Couple of runs across for the Cardinals. We're all tied up at 6 in the 6th from the seats at Wrigley.
I joined the Army in July of '98.
Our 18-year-old was in an accident. When I call USAA, it was that voice asking me, "Is your daughter okay?" That's where I felt relief.
We're the Rivera family, and we will be with USAA for life.
So, how can I help you?
Have you ever walked into the paint store feeling like you should really know more than you know? Satin versus semi-gloss, and I don't know.
Yes, I know the feeling.
That's how I feel right now about all of the financing options for this project I'm doing. I feel like I should know more than I know.
Don't sweat it. We have this new tool, My Credit Options Guide, that gives you a customized comparison like this, which helps you discover which credit options might be right for you.
Oh, this is better. They should make one for paint.
Want to get started?
Sure.
Mike's, drink on the bright side.
Apparently, the picture is worth 1,000 words. The award-winning 4K displays from Vizio.
Hold tight. Open your head. Take a glass.
Get closer. Boss, the scent. The fragrance for him.
If you have a garden, you know. Weeds are low-down little scoundrels. With Roundup Precision Gel, you can finally banish garden weeds without harming precious plants nearby. So draw the line. Just give the stick one click, touch the leaves, and the gel stays put, killing garden weeds to the root with pinpoint precision. Draw the line with Roundup Precision Gel. And be sure to check out Roundup with Sure Shot Wand, another good for the garden product from Roundup.
Thompson's Water Seal.
the seal you can trust. With stain and sealer in one and easy-to-choose colors, exceptional beauty and protection have never been easier. Thompson's Water Seal Stain and Sealer, available at national retailers.
MLB.tv, every night, every device. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live. Plus, get a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Dan Shulman, David Ross, Aaron Boone, Buster Olney. Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. Addison Russell leads off the bottom of the 6th in a 6-6 tie. And a new pitcher on for the Cardinals. Left-hander Brett Cecil induces a ground ball. Nice range there by Jerko. 1 down.
Well, Brett Cecil, one of the offseason acquisitions, signed to a multi-year deal with the Cardinals from the Toronto Blue Jays. It's been a struggle for him. Part of the struggles of this Cardinals bullpen is trying to get Brett Cecil on track because he's been an impact reliever in his career. Mike Matheny knows how important he is potentially to this club, and the command's been a little bit of an issue for him. He'll throw everything at you: fastball, curveball, change, cut fastball. This is a guy they absolutely need to get rolling to be a part of that, what they hope is a good pen.
This is lined up well for Mike. He was telling us earlier how he wanted to get him to face some righties to get that two-seamer to really work down and away. It just seems to be more free to that side of the plate. So I think that's, you know, bringing him in against these two righties, and then Schwartz, he gets the best of both worlds.
Wilson Contreras, his first at bat of the night, came onto the double switch last half inning. A guy who burst onto the scene with a home run in his first major league at bat last year. This year, and David, you talked about it earlier, a number of Cubs, the numbers are just a little bit down from where they were last year. Contreras hitting .248, 5 homers. Skies it into shallow right center, and look out! Piscotty just kept coming. DeYoung will make the catch, and fortunately it looks like everybody's okay.
Well, this is just a case of sometimes it can be so loud going on, and obviously as an infielder you go back and take the ball until you hear someone call you up. But this is a situation where DeYoung is clearly camped under this ball and knows he has it. And I think probably wise to hang in there, because that turns into what would have been a probably difficult play for Piscotty. But this is a situation where you need to have a little better communication. Not only could it cost you an out, but it could have cost you an injury, with DeYoung fortunately having his legs taken out and getting up with no effects from it.
Very lucky right there.
And this is something that has been an issue for Cecil so far. Left-handed hitters have really been a problem for him to start out this season. .359, 3 home runs allowed against lefties, and a powerful one at the plate now. And that's that curveball. It's been such a big factor for him in his career, and needs to be a big factor for him, especially against the left-hander. You talked about the two-seamer to the righties. Now that curveball becomes a big pitch for him against lefties.
If they don't have to respect that curveball left on left, and it's really doesn't create a matchup issue. If they can stay on the heater.
Breaking ball down and away, and he falls behind Kyle Schwarber. 2 balls and a strike. Schwarber has struck out and walked and scored tonight. That's got to be a terrible feeling for an infielder, what DeYoung just went through right there. He probably hurt him at the last second. He's concentrating on the ball. And you're right, if his cleats stick in the grass,
yeah,
he might have sustained a serious injury.
And that might have been a situation where once you're camped under it as an infielder, you go back and you do give way to the outfielder calling it. But once you're camped, then you start waving your arms and screaming, I got it, I got it. And that can sometimes give an idea. But again, out here it can get so loud, sometimes it doesn't matter. Here is DeYoung. I don't know if he was necessarily calling it. He certainly wasn't calling it emphatically, and that's why Piscotty probably kept bearing down. But that's a situation where you'd like to think Piscotty might just give a glance and see that he's kind of camped underneath it.
3-2.
And this is another place too, Boone, like we talked about earlier, the wind plays such a big factor. You continue to play the balls in the air. You have to continue to run. You have to continue chasing.
And Mike Matheny not happy with that ball 4 call to Kyle Schwarber, who, according to K-Zone, did catch the inside corner. And you talked about this earlier, David. This is a call that not only with Guccione, but a lot of home plate umpires won't call that inside fastball to left-handers. And clearly it does catch the corner there, and Matheny's letting Guccione hear about it.
And I think Yachty was too. Yachty doesn't look back too much. He gave a little look back right there.
So the inning continues, and the batter is Ian Happ, who has hit 2 home runs in this game, both from the left side.
Yeah, this first one, as Ken Griffey Jr., my old teammate, would say, he caped him. He caped him on that first one. A little one-handed swing, majestic blow to right, and then for good measure takes a changeup and rides it into the bleachers, and we got a little dance-off in the Cubs bullpen. That's become kind of a thing here at Wrigley Field in that new bullpen. Must have been some moves thrown down from David Ross.
They asked me after the game, they said, when are you going to come down and show them some moves? I'm like, I don't know how to dance. I just learned some steps for a couple months, you know?
I think my favorite line of yours today is, I got to get back into retired ball player shape. You actually had to get into better shape to dance, right?
I lost like 15 pounds doing that. I mean, she put me through the ringer over a 2-3 month period.
You want to split this burger with me?
Heck yeah. What is yes?
This is what you've been up to. We know about Dancing with the Stars, a new book out, Teammate, which was on Joe Madden's desk when we walked into the office. Tell us about the cereal. We didn't know about that.
Yeah, the Grandpa Rossi Crunch. You know, I don't. They asked me, do I want to have a cereal with my name on it? I'm like, yes. Same thing I thought when he asked me if I wanted some of this burger.
Hey,
yes.
You start burying some of that Grandpa Rossi stuff at late night. Start packing on some pounds again.
It's the love handles. My wife misses the love handles. You know, she liked this side here, something to grab onto.
Well, TV's not much different than baseball. First thing you want to do after ball games, go out and get something to eat. But you got to watch. We're not getting any younger.
Well, I'll hit the treadmill at some point, but we'll let me pack some pounds back on. Get my dad bod back.
Big breaking ball and a swing and a miss. Happ strikes out and the inning is over. End of 6. Tied at 6. Grandpa's going to start packing some pounds on right now.
Burger number 2.
Hi everybody, it's Pat Hughes. BigTimeBats.com is your headquarters for autographed bats. They have one of the largest selections of officially licensed and authenticated bats in the country. Now it's your chance to commemorate the historical Chicago Cubs World Series Championship with the autographed W bat. These bats have been individually signed by Bryant, Contreras, Edwards, Lester, Montgomery, Montero, Rizzo, Zobrist, and others. The bats start at $2.95 and can be seen at BigTimeBats.com.
Sometimes you feel the need to take a smellfie. Hanes wants to end the smellfie. Those quick self-sniffs to check the old smell levels. But this thing we've all done doesn't need to be a thing. There's a smart way to stay fresh. Hanes with Fresh IQ Advanced Odor Protection Technology. Get your free trial pack at Hanes.com.
Say, Carl, we have a question about your brokerage fees.
Fees?
What do you have in mind?
I don't know, $4.95 per trade.
And I was wondering if your brokerage offers some sort of guarantee. Guarantee?
Where we can get our fees and commissions back if we're not happy.
So can you offer me what Schwab is offering?
What's with all the questions?
Ask your broker if they're offering $4.95 online equity trades and a satisfaction guarantee. If you don't like their answer, ask again at Schwab.
I love how USAA gives me the peace of mind and the security just like the Marines did. At one point, I did change to a different company with car insurance, and I was not happy with the customer service. We have switched back over, and we feel like we're back home now.
The process through USAA is so effortless that you feel like you're a part of the family.
I love that I can pass a membership to my children and that they can be protected. We're the Williams family, and we're USAA members for life.
Call USAA today to talk about your insurance needs.
Back here at Wrigley Field, Cardinals and Cubs, and let's take a look at the results of this week's poll question. Which is the most intense baseball rivalry in 2017? Number 1, Cardinals and Cubs. Red Sox, Yankees, 22%. Orioles, Red Sox, 22%. David Ross, Dodgers, Giants, only 10%. What's up with that?
They're still sleeping on the West Coast. They're at work or something. I don't know what's going on Sunday. They didn't vote. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before once.
They're watching the Warriors.
That's fair.
Good point.
That's fair. So David said emphatically he thought it was Dodgers and Giants. Did you ever actually say what you think the best rivalry in baseball is?
I did. 2017, I'm going Astros, Rangers.
Right now? Okay.
I think they sneaky hate each other. Little Texas thing going on.
So in hindsight, you like the move of Houston coming from National League to American League, getting in there with Texas. Good. That's a good deal.
They're in the American League. No, I do. I think it's a good thing.
I didn't like that extra team over there when I was in National League. When I was in Cincinnati, they were still in National League.
Matt Carpenter waves at a ball in the dirt from Pedro Strop. There's that slider down and in. Now Carpenter's going to go have a little meeting with himself outside the batter's box.
This can happen on Strop. He throws so hard and he sells his slider so well, full arm speed. That's the thing with these pitchers. If you get that full arm speed, they commit to that fastball body language. And he committed to that fastball and it just disappeared.
Carpenter 0 for 2 with a walk. Russell playing up the middle. One down. Pedro Strop has settled things down since coming into the game. He's retired all 3 batters he's faced, but now he'll have to deal with Stephen Piscotty, who's got a big 3-run home run tonight for the Cardinals.
And has been pretty locked in his at-bats. He walked in his last at-bat. Clearly seeing the ball well in his return tonight.
Ground ball to third. Quickly 2 down.
All right.
You boys,
dancing machine.
You
guys get that voice ready.
You got a job ahead of you coming up now. Yeah.
we got the 7th inning stretch. Dancer, singer, former ball player.
I'm going to be a background singer.
No, you just let it out. The people want to hear us. I'm telling you. They love it when you give it your all. That's all America wants.
You've done it before.
They want to hear Grandpa Rossi. I'll just be there to support you.
That's all right. That's fair enough.
That's fair.
That's fair enough.
This is your turf. All right, here it comes.
Let's do it.
3 up, 3 down. 7th inning stretch. You know what that means. Time to sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." David Ross and Aaron Boone going to take it from here.
Commanders for "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." From the Budweiser bleachers, ESPN broadcasters Aaron Boone and David Ross.
All right, Chicago. Good to be back. Let's sing this with Boone. 1, 2, 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, for it's root for the. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Yeah! Thank you, Chicago! Let's get some runs!
This Father's Day, get Dad a gift that matters from Dick's Sporting Goods. He'll love the latest Yeti drinkware, and you'll love our new low prices. Get 50% off select Callaway and TaylorMade drivers. New outdoor games, now buy one, get one half off. Walter Hagen Essentials and Reebok Performance Tees and Shorts, now buy one, get one free. Save up to $50 off select Fitbit wearables. Or help him set a new personal best with Nike FS Light running shoes. Can't decide? Get him a Dick's gift card. Go to Dick's Sporting Goods or visit Dicks.com for more amazing Father's Day gift deals. Every season starts at Dick's.
You do all this research on the perfect car, then smash it into a tree. Your insurance company raises your rates. Maybe you should have done more research on them.
For drivers with accident forgiveness, Liberty Mutual won't raise your rates due to your first accident. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Thompson's Water Seal. The seal you can trust. With stain and sealer in one and easy-to-choose colors, exceptional beauty and protection have never been easier. Thompson's Water Seal Stain and Sealer. Available at national retailers.
Sunday night baseball from Wrigley Field, and a lot of offense in this one tonight. Stephen Piscotty with a 3-run home run for the Cardinals back in the fourth, made it 3-1. Near disaster averted on that collision between Piscotty and Paul DeJong. And the Cubs getting back into it. Albert Almora with a single, advancing at a 2-base error. 2 runs would score on the play, and Ian Happ with a non-1. But 2 home runs tonight for the Cubs, and that means you get a curtain call here at Wrigley. They go bottom of 7, tied at 6. Final game of this 3-game series. The Cubs winning the first 2, 3-2 Friday night, 5-3 on Saturday. Neither Kyle Hendricks nor Michael Wacha lasted particularly long in this game. And Chris Bryant grounds out of the first pitch of the inning from the new Cardinals pitcher, Matt Bowman.
Well, this is the portion where Mike Matheny's the most pleased with in the bullpen. Matt Bowman, even though that ERA is a little high, he's been a guy that he can absolutely trust. 4 and 2 seam fastball, a lot of sinking fastballs, likes to put the ball on the ground, changeup and slider. And now in a tie game here in the 7th, you would think in a perfect world for the Cardinals, it would now go Bowman, Rosenthal, and hope that their offense can break through in the later innings.
Now the back end of the bullpen's been pretty good for the Cardinals, but the middle group has surrendered a lot of runs. Cardinals have given up a lot of leads this year as Bowman misses low ball 1 to Anthony Rizzo. Did you guys have fun with that, singing the 7th inning stretch?
That was a blast.
That was good.
Yeah,
that was a blast.
You know, Boone, I think if we bring David out another time or two, he might break out of that shell and get rid of that shyness that we've seen from him tonight. So.
Seriously.
Sorry, these people make me feel so good. That's what I know. The guys in the truck over there had like an over/under on the wheeze I was going to say today. You know, I'm like, you know, I'm trying to turn the page and be proper, but it just comes out. I feel so at home around these guys in the stadium. So I think the over/under was 4. I think I'm at what, like 13, 14.
Blew by it, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to be unbiased. Pitch.
Bowman with a good changeup there. Rizzo swings through it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Wacha, Lyons, Cecil, and now Bowman for the Cardinals, who are heading to Cincinnati for a series after this game tonight. Pitch in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Cubs rather will stay home and open up a 3-game series with Miami, and then Colorado comes to town. The Rockies, one of the more interesting teams in baseball in the first couple of months of the season. The Rockies and Diamondbacks both making a lot of noise out in the National League West. Smoked up the middle, a base hit. All right, David, you're a guy who can take us back in time. Take us back to last October, Game 7 of the World Series, rain delay, Indians and Cubs. This is a cartoonist rendering of the speech given by Jason Hayward in the weight room in Cleveland. You were in the room. Tell us about it.
You know, he called everybody in, and with the season that Jason was having last year and struggling in that big contract, and you know, he expects a lot from himself. It had been the same guy, and for him to call the meeting, he doesn't say a whole lot. Called us all in there, wanted to talk to the players for a minute, and he just said, hey, let's get back to who we are. We're the best team in baseball. We care about one another. We play for one another. Forget all the things that have happened up to this point. Let's be us.
Zobrist with a fly ball to right, 2 down. What were the ups and downs of Game 7 like? I mean, that's one of the craziest games to decide a World Series that's ever happened.
Everybody always asks me, he's like, man, you guys put me through the ringer. I said, imagine me. I lost a couple years off my life, I think, with that game. It was rough. I mean, you know, you've got all the changes that were going on with me personally when you're going in the game later with John and then, you know, getting those at bats and trying to hone in those emotions and trying to still be a rock solid guy on the bench for the guys that were. I had never been in that situation, and you know, guys lean on you even though you're the veteran. I'd never been in a Game 7, and this is my last game of my career too, coupled with all that, and all I wanted to do was win so bad. It's a lot, you know, that I've never been so down on myself than I was when Rajay Davis hit that ball over left. You know, I don't get pretty down later on in my career on myself or situations of the game. And man, I wanted to crawl in a hole when that ball went out. So the resiliency of the group and the guys just it still amazed me what a young group and continue to have at bats. Kyle Schwarber says to me out of that thing, I'm going deep. And I mean, he hit a laser. It didn't go out, but but he had an absolute rocket.
Do you feel like the rain delay was a real positive thing for you guys and settled you down?
I think so, for sure. I think it allowed us to get our mental state back. I think we were kind of all over the place, like, how did this happen? And Jay Hay just kind of brought things. It wasn't an emotional speech. It was just like, hey, we care about one another. We love one another. Let's play for one another. Let's do what we do. We are the best team in baseball. Let's go out there and just do what we do. And, you know, it started right out. We needed a little bit of break and a kind of a reset button in our minds. And that was the perfect time. And when he speaks, you know, he doesn't say much often, like I said, but when he speaks, it carries a lot of weight.
Going to be no play. Infield hit for Hayward. Rizzo up to second.
Well, it's been a much better start to 2017 for Jason Hayward. This is another ball hit pretty well off his bat that Bowman almost makes an excellent play. It's hit sharply, but it just kind of kicks off the tip of his glove, and that really slowed it down to not really give DeYoung a chance to get the force out at second base. So you see Rizzo just too far along. Even if he's able to get off a good throw, I don't think it matters. And now an RBI opportunity now for the Cubs.
This is the guy we talked about earlier when we were talking about Garcia. This is another guy, just a professional at bat, year in and year out. It's been with a few different teams now, but I know Theo and Jed got a lot of confidence, and Joe got a lot of confidence in this guy at the plate because he's going to give you a good at bat.
John Jay, the former Cardinal, who spent the first 6 years of his major league career with St. Louis, last year with San Diego, and now with the Cubs this season. And very good pinch hitting numbers on the season for Jay. 8 for 19.
And very good going the other way. And you can bet against a sinker baller, he's looking to see something deep and just work it the other way. If they go something soft, that may speed him up, but he's looking to hit the ball the other way.
I saw yesterday when he pinch hit a lot of foul balls to the left side. Like you say, he stays inside the ball so well. He's got that signature left center power. And like you said, if they throw him something soft, speed it up, and that's where his home runs come in. But he's hit so many doubles when I've been catching to the left center gap. He was one of those guys that drove me crazy because he was going to put an at bat on you.
I like that attempt. Yachty set up inside there, and they try and go in. That's a spot that you can have success if you can command it in there. But as you've touched on, a tough thing to do is command that inside part of the plate to lefties.
Very tough. And the Cubs have struggled with runners in scoring position. I think that's what's going to put them over the hump when they start getting the big 2-out knocks. That's what winning teams do. They get that 2-out hit. They kind of get some momentum going in situations like that. They've struggled with guys in scoring position.
Kind of hard to believe, last in the National League in a batting average this year with the runners in scoring position. When you look at the track records and the resumes of the players on the team, and Joe Maddon very optimistic that, yeah, although they're 27 and 27, he feels they're better than that. I think most people would agree when you look at the talent that it's probably inevitable that the Cubs get going in a better direction than the first 54 games have gone for them so far. Just 500 right now. And there is Jay going the other way, as you said, lining the ball into left center, a base hit. Cubs have the lead. The run will score. Hayward caught in a rundown, and that'll end the inning, but the Cubs do take the lead on the pinch hit RBI single by John Jay.
Looked like an off-speed pitch that just hung up there. It's off the plate. What we talked about, Jay covering the plate, and the dugout fired up knowing they got the lead.
Ah, graduation day. A time for parents to beam with pride as your youngsters embark on a swell future. All but one, that is. You see, Billy thought it would be neat to try Taco Bell's new boldly seasoned naked chicken chips dipped in a sinful side of nacho cheese sauce. By graduating to these crispy triangles of temptation, the only diploma Billy will receive is a master's degree in being hooked.
Actually, it's a bachelor's in fine arts, and these things are awesome.
What a waste.
Brought to you by the Council for Eating Fried Chicken the same way you always have, and not Taco Bell.
If you have a garden, you know. Weeds are low-down little scoundrels.
With Roundup Precision Gel, you can finally banish garden weeds without harming precious plants nearby. So draw the line. Just give the stick one click, touch the leaves, and the gel stays put, killing garden weeds to the root with pinpoint precision. Draw the line with Roundup Precision Gel. And be sure to check out Roundup with Sure Shot Wand, another good for the garden product from Roundup.
Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN is presented by Taco Bell's new Naked Chicken Chips, and in part by the United States Marine Corps. The few, the proud, the Marines. Try to loosen up a little.
Couple clowns right there.
That was great. That was a lot of fun.
That was fun. What a night. What a night it's turned out. The sun went away. And
yep. It got
that
nice
signed me up for this.
Cubs have the lead 7-6 going to the top of the 8th inning. And a new pitcher, Carl Edwards Jr., a guy with a live arm.
Yeah, this is the guy that's really emerged. Fastball, power, curveball combination. And he has become, without question, the setup man now ahead of Wade Davis. We saw him emerge the second half of last season. He's taken it to another level here the first third of this season.
A lot of guys don't realize he throws so hard, but he's got a natural cut to his fastball.
Yep.
It just runs, runs away from righties and into lefties, and you can't really see it. And he's not doing it on purpose. Just got that natural cut to it. And when he's got that thing on down away, man, it's exploding.
Oh, 2 to Molina. Big leg kick, ground ball to short, just like that, one down. A reminder, weekdays on ESPN 2, 4 o'clock Eastern Time. It's Intentional Talk. Chris Rose and Kevin Millar, a 1-hour breakdown of baseball's hottest topics. You can also see it streaming live on the ESPN app. No shortage of stuff to talk about in recent days. The guys have talked about the Mike Trout injury and the Strickland Harper situation. Albert Pujols hitting his 600th last night. No doubt they'll talk about that tomorrow. The Astros, who never lose, ever. We'll see Houston in a couple of weeks. The Red Sox are there 2 weeks from tonight. We'll have it on Sunday Night Baseball. There's that cut you were talking about on that last pitch.
I mean, it's almost one of those invisibles. You saw it, Yachty run out of bat, trying to go the other way and still pulled it. And then you got a ball that it's got that cut to it, got a little bit of depth to it. Pham swings right through a ball in the heart of the plate. Just explodes out of his hand. He's got a good breaking ball too. That's big differential in miles per hour, and he can throw it for a strike pretty much any time. So he's got, and he's a wiry, skinny kid out there. I loved catching him. He's putting everything he's got into that ball.
And he makes a great grab on the mound.
Well, perhaps the difference in this game right now. Remember the line drive off of Hayward that tipped off the glove of Bowman that set up that go-ahead run here. Edwards Jr. just self-preservation, just instinctively fires that glove up, and oh my, look what I found. A big second out here in the 8th. A bullet off the bat of Pham. Catch your breath there for a second.
Get your heart rate down a bit.
Get your attention.
Yep. 2 down in the inning. And the batter DeYoung, who is 1 for 3, has a couple of RBIs on the night, 1 on a base hit, 1 on a ground out.
And he has the ability with that cut fastball, Boone, to throw pretty much fastballs like you've seen so far. He can pitch with just his fastball when you got a lead and you can command down and away.
There's the breaking ball. So you guys were talking about your draft day experiences before. Aaron, you were a 3rd round pick. David, you were a 7th round pick. Carl Edwards Jr. was a 48th round pick. That means that more than 1,400 players were taken before him in that year. And here he is, thriving in the big leagues.
That's amazing to me, especially with all the scouts and all the information these days. You know, guys, you just can't. One, you can't ever scout heart and determination and hard work. You know, and this kid's bust his tail, and couldn't be happy for a guy that gets drafted in the 48th round and is, you know, probably got potential closer stuff.
Out of Prosperity, South Carolina, and he is certainly prospering at the big league level. 1-2, and the pitch, breaking ball inside.
Well, if you're DeYoung, who's shown the ability to drive the ball the other way, I think you just got to ignore the inner half here, because you know he doesn't want anything to do with that. A hanging breaking ball will show up, but you got to look for something away, and if it's up, maybe give you a chance to drive something the other way.
Got him. Very good pitching, very good fielding from Carl Edwards Jr. Here from the top of the 8th, Cubs lead.
Here at Red Robin, we know that when you crave a burger, you're craving more than meat on a bun. You want to hang out with your people as you make a delicious mess with your own 2 hands. So let's sit and eat and actually LOL. Let's get more fries. And let's stay a while. Let's burger. Come hang and try one of 4 burgers from Red Robin's Tavern menu. $6.99 each, anytime. With bottomless steak fries, of course.
Red Robin. Yum.
This is the main event of the evening.
This is one of the most exciting divisions in the UFC right now. Boom, right there. Everything Aldo lands hurt. I don't know if there's a more vicious featherweight out there right now than Max Holloway.
All power there. She can do everything well. Oh!
Just such a natural striker.
Absolutely incredible.
Take on the mainstream. Introducing Nissan's new Midnight Edition.
USAA gives me the peace of mind and the security just like the Marines did.
The process through USAA is so effortless that you feel like you're a part of the family.
I love that I can pass a membership to my children. We're the Williams family, and we're USAA members for life.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
After our game, wrap up your weekend with Sports Center at Night, hosted by John Abuchagras and John Anderson. A full breakdown from Game 2 of the NBA Finals. The best from the major leagues, Day 8 of the French Open, and everything else you need to know. Sports Center at Night coming up next, also streaming live on the ESPN app. Beautiful night in the beautiful city of Chicago. As we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, 7-6, the Cubs are leading the Cardinals, trying to complete a sweep and get over the 500 mark. And out of the bullpen for St. Louis comes hard-throwing right-hander Trevor Rosenthal.
One of the really good things that's happened for the Cardinals so far this year, Trevor Rosenthal, guys, is back at high 90s fastball. You can see the whip below 1. Look at the strikeout to walk ratio in just 20 1/3 innings. At fastball, though, up around 100 at times. But the command, which was such an issue for him and the injuries last year, that command's been much better. He's throwing that fastball over 80% of the time. He'll mix in a cutter and a change.
And he is the second hardest thrower in baseball. this year. Aroldis Chapman is the hardest. Chapman on the DL right now.
Well, look at the base on balls per 9 last year. It was such an issue for him. This year, he's definitely got it back. They really stretched him out in spring training, thinking he might fill a lot of different roles, but he settled back into that back-end reliever that he's been for much of his career. And there you see a couple of high 90s fastballs up in the zone, blowing right past Addison Russell.
And I'm sure, talking to him, the role in spring training where you get more innings and they use you as a starter, you get to find your command a little more and be out there a little more and get that work where you find your rhythm as a pitcher.
He strikes out Addison Russell. He wasn't messing around at all. Nothing but heat.
No, fell behind him 2-0 and then just said, I'm going to challenge you with my best fastballs up and on the outer half. And Addison Russell, who's been struggling and always struggles sometimes with that high fastball up in the strike zone, 3 really thrown right by him.
Now Wilson Contreras popped up in his only at bat tonight, came on in a double switch.
You know, I got to face Trevor too many times, but he's one of those guys that throws that heavy ball too. I know it's hard, but it feels like if you do make contact, it's not going anywhere. It feels like it knocks the bat out of your hand. It's like a bowling ball coming in there. Back in the day, I got to catch Darren Dreifert, and he reminds me so much of him with that. Just, I mean, Darren didn't throw as hard as him, but just the ball was so heavy.
Meanwhile, in the Cubs bullpen, you would expect Wade Davis, but it's not. It's Koji Uehara. Davis has pitched each of the last 2 days through 11 pitches on Friday, through 23 in yesterday's game. So it looks like Joe Maddon's going to call on Koji Uehara to try to bring it home. And Uehara, of course, a guy with a lot of experience closing games as well.
I got an opportunity to catch Koji. Boston, that guy.
The Invisiheater.
Invisible. And he paints. I mean, you're talking about a guy who can locate a fastball.
Well, he'll come in, throw 86 mile an hour up in the strike zone and be throwing it by guys.
Right by it. I've never seen anything like it.
Okay, so tell us how to the people who didn't play the game. How can you throw it straight in 86 and they don't hit it?
It's just deception. One, it's a short arm. It's quick. He jumps at you. Yep. You know, it's a lot of body language. As hitters, we're reading body language. You're seeing like that Stropey slider I was talking about. It's a full as all he's got with that slider. Same way with Koji's fastball. It's a true four seam. He's short arm under the ball. It's got that little bit of a ride that goes up, and either guys foul it off. They know it's coming. They foul it off. Or they swing right through it. It's unbelievable. And then he's got a nasty splitty
that's always in the back of your mind.
Right. Change up there from Rosenthal to get Contreras.
I love the call. Yadier Molina reading swings. Contreras had a much better pass on the 2-1 fastball that he fouled off. Yadier goes to school on that. And after all heaters, he breaks out his first changeup of the night, and it's a beauty. Contreras way out in front as the bottom falls out.
The 2 down, and here's Schwarber. And he was dialing it up for 99, and he got 99, but he couldn't catch up to it.
Well, and he's going to get it again now. If he can execute at the top of the strike zone like that, that's where they'll continue to go until Yadi perhaps reads a swing where he makes an adjustment.
What a difference a year makes for Trevor Rosenthal.
When you've got guys like they're throwing 99, you know, the Dodgers do a good job of it. They pitch up in the zone on purpose.
Yeah.
I feel like Rosenthal is one of those guys that can throw it up there, and everybody know it's coming, and you got no chance of hitting it. The game's changing in that way. Four seamers up, 12-6 breaking balls are a lot more prevalent than when I was coming up.
Well, all these guys and their launch angles, it's to counteract the sinker and that ball on the ground. So we are seeing more and more four-seam fastballs. We've seen Kyle Hendricks incorporate that more into his game as a true sinker baller. We've seen a guy like Rick Porcello last year go out and win the Cy Young Award. When you thought of him, it was always sinker, breaking ball. But last year, a lot more four-seamers at the top of the zone, just to get it essentially works as another pitch.
That's what we were talking about earlier with Kyle. You're adding a pitch to your repertoire with the exact same mechanics, the exact same arm, velocity, what you're trying to do with the baseball. You're just gripping it a different way, and you're just letting it eat to one side of the plate.
Full count on Schwarber. In on his hands, and he fouls it off. Looking ahead to the top of the ninth, the Cardinals will send out Diaz, their number 8 hitter, then the pitcher spot, and then back to the top of the order for fouling.
Schwarber might have gone after ball 4 here as he ran the fastball in on his hands. You see it, that bat shatter. Look out, look out. It's coming at you.
Ball 4.
Well, more progress for Kyle Schwarber tonight. No hits on the night, and after striking out his first at bat, 3 walks now, and this is what they expect and know they'll eventually get from Schwarber when he locks in. That ability to work counts, to get on base, and provide that tremendous power.
Two-out base runner for the Cubs, and Ian Happ the batter. 2 for 4 tonight, 2 home runs. He's driven in 4.
You see him nod his head right there, like, okay. Look, when you haven't faced a guy and you step up there and guys letting it eat like Rosenthal, it's not a bad thing to get a first pitch rip at it to kind of, okay, this is a different level coming at me right now.
Got a piece, but he fouls it off 0-2. Another 99-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yachty didn't like that one. Rerun it. Change up. Just keeping him honest. It's funny sometimes you got
no way he doubles up.
No chance. I wouldn't. I would have thrown another heater, but it's all about command up in the zone, depending on where he wants it. But that's it. Sometimes as a catcher, you've got 2 pitches in your head, and you don't want to get beat with something crazy.
That's perfect execution, though. That's the place where you can get a chase right there, just above the strike zone. Give credit to Happ there for being able to lay off. But this is a really nice 1-2 pitch. You see Yachty reach for it, point that he wants this ball up, but a lot of times you'll see a guy overthrow this and it'll end up around eye high, and that's not a pitch typically a good hitter will go at. That's a pitch they might offer at.
2-2. Upstairs again. Full count. Now Schwarber will be on the move.
That's the one he didn't want to make. And you see Yachty's body language like, no, that's too high. That's not one that he's even going to think about offering at.
That's that hard thing about pitching up in the zone, too, is how much is the umpire going to give you? We're not trained to do that as pitchers, to throw the ball up in the zone. How much they practice that in the bullpens, they never do it. So to get out there in the game and let it eat as a bullpen guy up in the zone is just natural. It's going to be up too high sometimes.
And I think in those spots, sometimes a pitcher will overthrow that instead of throwing it to the spot they want and letting their natural thing. And that's when they lose complete command of it. Like Rosenthal probably tried to overthrow that one a bit.
Totally agree.
Runner goes, and he got him. Swing and miss at a changeup. And that's it for the Cubs in the bottom of the 8th. Top 9, Cubs up a run, last chance for the Cardinals.
Meet Taco Bell's latest affront to traditional fried chicken values. Barbara? The all-new Naked Chicken Chips, made of crispy fried chicken dipped in a seductive nacho cheese sauce. Be warned, Taco Bell's Naked Chicken Chips are tantalizing triangles of temptation.
Brought to you by the Council and not Taco Bell.
Need new tires? Now you can get up to $200 back on 4 select Goodyear or Cooper tires with your Midas credit card. And right now, for every tire sold, we'll donate a meal to feed the hungry. Don't worry, we have plenty of tires.
Here's a good place. What do you think of this one? Find a house close to Nana and Poppy.
I bet that one's Mom. It's the brightest.
We will find a way home.
Over here, it's my boy.
Good night.
Night, Dad. Night, Mom.
The mummy has returned.
You wish to see what I have seen? You will when I kill you.
The Mummy, rated PG-13.
The moment you realize this is definitely not the look you were going for.
At Lowe's, we have everything you need to create the outdoor space you've always wanted.
Get this Garden Treasure Severson patio set for only $248 at the Lowe's Memorial Day Savings Event.
This is Bill's yard, and Bill has a no weeds, not in my yard policy. But with Scott's Turf Builder Weed and Feed, Bill has nothing to worry about. It kills weeds and greens grass, guaranteed. This is a Scott's yard.
Celtics Lakers, best of enemies, June 13th and 14th on ESPN.
Welcome back to Sunday Night Baseball and Sunday from the seats. Third and final time we're in the seats of the ballpark this year. We come to you from the right field bleachers at Wrigley Field. Just, I guess, not technically not the bleachers. We're just over to the side of the bleachers here, a little patio area. There's Mr. Ross. There's Mr. Boone. Wait, Mr. Boone.
Hi.
Doing his scorecard. We got changes, and we got to have our scorecards lined up here.
I'm getting better at keeping score.
You are.
Your money. You're dominating me tonight.
I've been cheating off you somehow.
Ben Zobrist moves from second base to left field. Javier Baez comes into the game at second base. So Schwarber's out of the game. And the new pitcher is Koji Uehara.
Well, it's going to be fastball split. They'll occasionally cut that fastball, but you see on for the. He's had some save opportunities this year, blown a couple of those saves, but a number of saves in his career, and obviously some huge games with the Boston Red Sox. Always usually outstanding command, but typically not more than usually 86, 87 with that fastball.
Just low, and a 2-1 count now on Aledmus Diaz.
This is definitely a guy who needs, like Kyle, needs the zone, needs the umpire to give him a little bit on the corners when he's working, because he can really dominate one side of the plate.
There's that fastball up. 2-1 count. You think a hitter's count, a guy like Diaz, who's such a good fastball hitter, and he throws this fastball right in the heart of the plate and up in the strike zone, blown right past him.
And there's the foul ball right there.
There's the foul ball. And now all of a sudden with 2 strikes, he's got the split in his mind. He knows he's got to account for that, and that plays up that fastball even more.
If he was late on a ball, 85 right down the middle, fouled it off.
Two again. Fastball popped up back of the plate. Contreras won't have a play. Koji Uehara is 42 years old and still pitching in a very prominent role in the big leagues.
I think he just bought himself the first split, though. A little better swing at that, a little better timed up on that fastball from Diaz there. I know it's in the back of his mind. I think here's the time you might see it broken out for the first time. Nope.
Coming on in center field. Haps there, one down. Cubs 2 outs away from a sweep, and now Uehara will face a guy. We were told that the official scorer had said that Jose Martinez had been announced into the game before he was called back, and then Greg Garcia came up. Evidently that's not true, because here he is. So Martinez comes up to bat in the pitcher spot here in the 9th. Martinez, a guy who had a big spring, first baseman, corner outfielder, can swing the bat.
Koji's a guy, too. We were talking earlier, he hadn't thrown one yet because he's been able to get away with that. But he can throw that splitty to both sides of the plate, which most guys can't do. I've never seen a guy control the split finger like they do a fastball like he can. He can throw it in to righties, away to righties, into lefties, away to lefties, as well as that fastball. So he's basically 2 pitches, but he can command both sides of the plate with it.
Throwing a lot of fastballs tonight.
I think all to this point.
Yeah.
And he's a guy that's had such a knack for when to, he sneaks fastballs by you, but has a knack for when to pull out the split.
There's those pitchers that read swings better than catchers do sometimes. He's one of those guys. He's one, like you said, his age and his experience in the environments he's been in both leagues over in Japan and now here for a long time. He's seen a lot of different ways that guys are trying to attack him, and he can read those swings and the foul balls that he gets and how to attack those guys. And I bet he's even analyzing the wind on Koji.
1 ball, 2 strikes. There's the splitter, strike 3 called.
Well, we'll show you the last 2 pitches here. It was another fastball in the pitch prior. A little late swing, foul an 88-mile-an-hour way, and this time Contreras wants this ball down, might have even wanted it down in the dirt. It stays in the strike zone, but to your point, commands it on the corner. Martinez unable to pull the trigger on the first one he sees.
So former Cub Dexter Fowler, last man standing right now for the Cardinals. Splitter for a strike. Fowler homered in his first at bat this weekend. Here, that was on Friday. Got his World Series ring before the game and then led off the ball game with a home run. 0 for 3 with a walk tonight. And the Cardinals down to their final strike, guys, as the Cubs are a strike away from a sweep and getting back over the 500 mark.
Coming home, a big homestand, 9-10 games on this homestand. The weather's starting to warm up. Better swings on the ball tonight. Perhaps the Cubs starting to find some traction.
I think they needed a series like this after that road trip.
0-6 trip out west. Cardinals, meanwhile, with a loss, would fall to 2 games under 500. If the Cubs win tonight, it would be their first 3-game sweep of the Cardinals since September of 2010.
And if the Cardinals do go down, obviously you never want to get swept. You never want to get swept by a division rival, as you start a road trip. But for a team that struggled offensively, a lot of good signs, at least offensively. Diaz with a lot of good swings tonight. The top of the order set the table for that Piscotty home run. So
1-2 again. Well, and the standing is going to be a bit of a consolation for a team that's struggling because nobody's broken away from the pack in this division.
Absolutely. And they know if they can start to swing the bats, even though Waka struggled in the middle innings tonight, for the most part, they've been able to hang their hat on that starting pitch. And if the offense starts to sync up with it.
And I think that the Cardinals could walk away with this. Obviously, you're a negative sweep, but they've played good baseball.
Throw down to first, and the Cubs win it and sweep the series. Uehara the save. Big night for Ian Happ. He hits a couple of home runs. And the Cubs, coming off an 0-6 road trip, sweep the Cardinals, who fall to 2 games under the 500 mark with the loss tonight. Final score, the Cubs 7 and the Cardinals 6. For Aaron Boone, David Ross, Buster Olney, and our ESPN crew, I'm Dan Shulman saying thanks for watching, and so long from Chicago. Sports Center is next.
Yes, it is Dan Shulman. Your game is over. Game 2 of the NBA Finals is also over. John and John will be with you until 7 a.m. tomorrow. DJ Carlissimo will join us to break down Game 2. We'll have live news conference coverage.
Right. Everybody who did something will be heard from, including Steve Kerr, who was back tonight, plus Russian tractor racing. I think he'll come back for that.
Good evening, Utica.
Sure, you could get him a new car. You could also light a pile of money on fire. So maintaining this old car is your best option. Keep it running longer, stronger, with quality parts and a whole lot of Napa know-how.
So if anyone has a reason that these two should not be wed, speak now.
So sorry.
Oh, no.
It's just that your friend Daryl here is supposed to be live streaming the wedding, and he's not getting any service.
I missed, like, the whole thing.
What?
And I just got an unlimited plan.
It's the right plan, wrong network. See, Verizon has the largest, most reliable 4G LTE network in America. It's built to work better in cities. Tell you what, just use mine.
Thanks.
No problem. All right, let's go live. Say hi to everybody who wasn't invited.
When you really, really want the best, switch to Verizon Unlimited and get our best smartphones for just $15 a month.
Mike's, drink on the bright side. This is Bill's yard, and Bill has a no weeds, not in my yard policy. But with Scott's Turf Builder Weed and Feed, Bill has nothing to worry about. It kills weeds and greens grass, guaranteed. This is a Scott's yard.
Why did we design a lawn tractor that delivers strength, comfort, and the industry's leading warranty? Why did we make our machines to be as versatile as possible? Because the reason you do all of this is so you can do more of this. This is Strongsville, where lawns come to life. Experience Cub Cadet Strong with the XT Enduro Series. Find the right model in your nearest retailer at cubcadet.com.
Thompson's Water Seal, the seal you can trust. With stain and sealer in one and easy-to-choose colors, exceptional beauty and protection have never been easier. Thompson's Water Seal Stain and Sealer, available at national retailers.
This is SportsCenter.
We got next. Cue the Jam Master J, John, and jumpers. Lots of them.
Many of them went in, mostly for the Warriors. Steve Kerr watched them all from the Dubs bench. Golden State went back to their coach. Cavs went back to their black unis. Game 2, NBA Finals. There's Kerr coaching for the first time since April 19th. Game 2 of the first round. Warriors up 8 in the third quarter. It was tight at half. And listen, Steph Curry's put a lot of guys on skates. LeBron is not Rudy Gobert. And yet he dribbles him into a circle. Somewhere, Marcus Haynes and Curly Neal are admiring. Warriors up 10. Curry's not finished. No, he's one of their best players. He gets to do a bunch of stuff. Cavs cut the lead to 6. James tries to take advantage of the mismatch. Richard Jefferson, Curry on the block. Ahead to Kevin Durant. Between Curry and Durant, they did some damage in this one. Good finish right there. We got the foul. We got the and one. Warriors up 9 after the free throw. Next Cavs possession. Kyrie Irving attacks the basket. Kyrie did not shoot it well in this game. 8 of 23 inside. Sean Livingston on the assist from Curry, who had a triple-double, one of his 11 assists. Again, not looking. Livingston, though, good anticipation. Warriors, an 11-point lead. Oh, look at Steph. I got the goggles on, though. I see you now. Still in the third quarter, and the onslaught continues. They poured it on. Got a little sloppy in the second quarter, but in the second half, they were at their best.
Curry from downtown. Bang!
Steph did not shoot it terrific from outside, but 4 of 11 from 3, and that one was special. 102-88 through 3 quarters. The Warriors, now they got to stomp this thing out, take the 2-0 lead to Cleveland. Durant, contact, and the silly finish. One more time. Ends up on the seat of his pants. Still counted. Kevin Durant, 13 of 22 from the field. Made all 3 of his free throw attempts. He finished game high 33 for the Dubs. There you go. I'll just finish that thing off. How's my range? It's fine, thank you. And Curry. Well, I can shoot farther from that. Got that one to go. In the end, a 19-point win for the home team, which is actually less than they won game 2 with a year ago. 132-113. Mama's happy, everybody's happy. So the Warriors will go to Cleveland leading 2-0 in the series. Then there's this. Curry and Durant, they've combined for 131 points through the first 2 games of this series. That is 53% of the team's points. Better than half, and they got great contributions tonight, especially from Klay Thompson, who played his best finals game in some time. Post-game, Doris Burke with Steph and KD.
All right,
that is not Steph, and you are not Doris.
No, unfortunately, we've taken a step down with me instead of Doris. PJ Carlissimo.
2 steps down.
Yeah, probably. A lot to get to here. First ever triple-double for Steph in the playoffs. LeBron gets his 8th in the finals, ties Magic for most all time. Golden State, their best players right now are better than Cleveland's best players. I thought Kyrie was invisible tonight. LeBron tried. He did the best he could. Another triple-double, but too much Golden State.
He ran out of gas, I thought. LeBron was unbelievable. And it was funny because in the first half, he was relentless attacking the basket. In the second half, he didn't. I'm sure fatigue had a lot to do with it, but they settled for shots. Even Golden State settled for shots a little bit in the second half. Kyrie finally came alive in the fourth quarter, but before that, it wasn't. It was LeBron and Kevin Love. The bench contributed early. They hung in. I mean, it was a very entertaining first half.
It really was.
Golden State's turnovers allowed Cleveland to stay in the game, and Golden State's three-point shooting enabled them to still lead at the half.
50, 40, 90. They shot 50% from the field, 40 for 3, and 90 at the line.
Team.
Right, exactly.
That's
the
pretty
team
good.
did that. And really, I thought for Kevin Durant, this is why he signed with Golden State. His stat line was unbelievable right across the board. 5 blocks. The 7-footer becoming an impact all over the court.
Yeah, he was amazing. And so many of the plays, so many of the defensive plays, Kevin gets a block, and they immediately get something on the other end. I mean, this is just good defense. Kevin Love's trying to overpower him. K-Love had a great game, but KD makes the play. This is the very continuation of the play. That's unfair. I mean, he's falling down, sitting down, and he's got a little chirping to do on the back end of it. But a lot of their good defense, as always, they're so good in transition. When they make a good defensive play, whether it's a block shot, leads to a defensive rebound or a turnover, they immediately make you pay, so it hurts even worse. You know, some teams make plays and then they don't do anything on the other end. These guys, when they get an advantage, they immediately kill you on the other end.
And of course, a healthy Steph, so entertaining tonight with the long threes, but also when he gets the ball and can handle people one-on-one. LeBron was a bit of a victim tonight in this one. Again, this was third quarter. It's only an 8-point game. And he kind of meanders his way. He's always a threat from 3 right there. And that little pump fake, of course, Kevin Love does him no favors with very little help there. I'm putting him on his butt there if I'm a Cavalier.
No, that's unfair. They left him all by himself. Look at him. Other guys are standing there guarding. Yeah, I know you don't want to give up a 3, but come on. That's even for LeBron, that's asking too much. I mean, that's one-on-one in the playground. You can't guard a guy with that good a handle.
And, of course,
going back
last year, it was a little different in Game 6. It was kind of a father-son moment right here by LeBron, but here's how it sounded in Portuguese tonight.
Curry, foge do LeBron. Tira o LeBron para dançar, gira para lá e para cá. O LeBron não acha o Curry, que faz a finta, vem para dentro na bandeja. Você é ridículo.
What did he say, PJ?
He said he's got him dancing, he's on skates, and look at that. I puntelo.
I like it. Warriors as a team have shot 63% in this series when being guarded by LeBron, 17 for 27. He's guarding very good players.
He's guarding the best players on the floor. That's why he's exhausted. You know, Jeff and Mark and Mike alluded to it in the second half. They said, look at him. You know, one of the reasons he's settling for shots. No kidding. He was breathing. You could see him. I mean, even superhuman LeBron ran out of gas. He needs more. And other guys did step up.
They did.
Cleveland played significantly better.
No doubt.
The problem was, guess who else showed up?
Yeah.
Klay Thompson had a very, very good game.
Yeah.
So, you know, as you said right in the beginning, too many Warriors are playing well, not as many Cavs.
Yeah, second best point production game for Klay this playoff season. Again, they haven't lost yet. The Miami Dolphins might be nervous because Golden State might go 16-0. I don't know if that counts for all those guys. But again, Kevin Durant, the big decision last summer to go to Golden State. He's with Mark Stein after the game.
KD, we see 30-point games from you all the time, but a 5-block night. Walk us through how that happened.
I was trying to help my teammates out. We started the game a little sluggish. I know I did defensively, and so I just tried to make up for it.
They've been able to hang with you guys for a half. How are you guys getting separation after halftime?
I was just staying poised, staying with our offense. Defensively, we just trying to, you know, push the tempo a little bit and pressure them a little bit. And offensively, when we get rebounds, just get out and go. And they're a phenomenal team, man. It's hard to stop them, but I think we're doing a solid job of just making it tough on them. We can't turn the ball over 20 times again if we want to win next game.
You guys also got Clay going tonight. How much was he beating himself up? Because obviously he was in a funk that he's not used to.
He wasn't beating himself up. You know, he knows he's been playing this game long enough, you know, especially as a shooter, it comes back around. So he just tried to impact the game in other ways, and I thought he was great last game defensively, driving the ball, you know, driving and kicking, and tonight his shot got going. So we're going to just need him to be consistent on the defensive side of the ball, and I think he's done a great job of that all season.
And to have Steve Kerr back on the bench, what was that like tonight?
Man, I'm just so happy for him. Glad he's back healthy, and, you know, it was killing him to not be on the sideline. So more importantly, I'm just happy that he's healthy.
And we bring Michael Wilbon in right away from Roracle. Michael, we just heard from Kevin Durant. I don't care how he got there. I don't care what you think about how he got there. He's there. He's fantastic. What you've witnessed in terms of him being a difference in these first two games.
Well, I mean, that's why he came here. You know, Kevin Durant took a look at the landscape in the NBA, and he could have stayed where he was. And Oklahoma City, as constituted, wasn't going to beat either one of these two teams. And Kevin Durant, you know, knew that. And he came here. He also thought he was going to fit in a way here that was better than even Oklahoma City, where he had been to one finals. He fits better. They embrace him. They use him differently. And he plays with a spirit here that we didn't necessarily see in Oklahoma, even though he was a great player in Oklahoma City. I mean, you know, tonight he impacts the game even a different way. He didn't have all those dunks going down the lane, but he has the block shots. I mean, he was just great. And then in a tag team effort with Steph Curry with a triple-double, and you have to expand that with Klay Thompson, the Warriors are going in a way offensively that Cleveland better figure out how not to give up 102 points you know, through three quarters, and 132 points in the NBA Finals game is extraordinary. And let's face it, Kevin Durant is leading that. They seem unable and just, I don't know, overwhelmed, the Cavaliers do, by what the Warriors are throwing at them offensively.
We're watching video of Steph Curry right now where he dribbled all around and about LeBron James. What was your thought on that play?
Well, I mean, Steph Curry, we saw the best of Steph Curry. And also, you know, by that time, LeBron's getting a little tired. I think PJ mentioned that already. He's probably running out of gas. Steph can take advantage of anybody running out of gas offensively when he's got that bounce to his step. When you got Kevin Durant as, I don't even know how you could say primary.
Michael, I'm going to trump you for Steve Kerr, and I apologize. We'll get right back to you. Steve Kerr speaking after the game.
On the sidelines again, that's what makes it so much fun, to feel the energy of the finals, and so it's really nice to be back.
Next question, second row. Go ahead.
Art Spander, San Francisco Examiner. Steve, I just wonder, Clay's been struggling a little bit. You know his game. Did you work any plays or anything for him specially tonight?
No. We I think I mentioned pregame. Clay played so well in game one without shooting well. And to me, that usually indicates that, you know, the ball's going to go in. His defense was tremendous in game one. His ball handling, his passing. I thought he played a great game. And I just felt like he was poised to come out and make some shots tonight, and he did. And his defense, again, was tremendous. I thought Clay, you know, he guards so many people out there, and he has such a responsibility with Kyrie and switching on to LeBron, and I thought he was fantastic.
Janie, all the way in the back.
Steve, Janie McCauley from AP. What was it like to witness up close and personal Steph dribbling around LeBron and going in to the paint and scoring in the third quarter, and also Kevin flicked one up at one point off balance? I mean, pretty special to see those again.
The talent on the floor in this series is just unbelievable. You know, obviously with Steph and KD and Clay and Draymond, but you know, trying to stop LeBron and Kyrie. Kevin Love was tremendous tonight. It really is a series that's just loaded with you know, high-powered weapons all over the floor. And the game changed quite a bit tonight from game one. They made a lot of adjustments. They put us on our heels, and we were able to respond.
Tim on the aisle over here.
Kawakami, Mercury News. Steve, you're especially appreciative that they decided to turn the ball over 13 times in the first half in your return game here.
Welcome back, Coach. Yeah.
Good coaching on that.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the focus the last 2 days is, you know, can we repeat the formula? The answer was no. We did not repeat it. Tonight was a game based on talent. We had a lot of guys who played exceptionally well individually, and we played with great energy. But heading to Cleveland, we're going to have to be a lot smarter. We played that same game in Cleveland. There's no way we win.
And you mentioned the adjustments. This really was a chess match kind of game, at least through the first 3 quarters. They go small, you go small. Durant was playing center for some.
Yeah.
Was that kind of fun for you, though, to just to immerse yourself in that kind of strategic back and forth?
Yeah, it's always fun. When you've got to make a lot of decisions out there, and obviously we're blessed with a very versatile roster, so we have options just like they do, but they really changed a lot from game one, and we had to respond to that. And in the midst of that, Draymond was in foul trouble, and so that made it trickier. But again, our guys responded really well.
Second row on your right, Coach.
Yes, Steve, welcome back. Dave Lewis, NBC News Radio. Kevin once again had a big offensive game, but maybe beneath the radar for those that don't really get into as much of the defensive part of it. He had 5 or 7 blocks. I think the one that would have put him away was the jump hook on Love. He ended up hitting a runner at the other end to finish him off. Talk about Kevin just as a defensive player.
His defense was amazing, and we needed it, especially with Draymond out. It's a small game, and you got shooters everywhere, and you have to be able to protect the rim with LeBron coming downhill, with Love posting up, and Draymond's on the bench. So that's a pretty scary proposition for us. And I thought Kevin's defense was unreal, and was probably the key to the whole game. Along with the perimeter defense of Clay and Andre, trying to do their best with Kyrie and LeBron. But KD was amazing.
Marcus towards the center.
Marcus Thompson, Barry News Group. Steve,
Where are you, Marcus?
Right in the middle, straight ahead in your line of sight. Right. Steph didn't look very well in the second quarter. Third quarter, he kind of changed the game.
Yeah.
What is it about when Steph goes off that really gives you guys some separation?
He just generates so much force to the game. He even when he's not making shots, he's bringing defenders all the way out to the perimeter, which opens up so much. He pushes the ball relentlessly, and obviously he got going there in the third after a poor first half. But he changes the game just by being himself and being out there and attacking.
What do you think of the narrative that he doesn't play well in the finals?
Whose narrative is that?
I just made it up.
Oh, okay. Well, write your story and email it to me, and I'll critique it.
Got you.
Steve towards the center, and then Al in the back.
Steve Futterman here from CBS News, straight back next to Mark. I want to ask you, historically, if you can take a step back, this team is making history every time it wins. It is a remarkable thing that they have done so far. I know you don't care until you win the championship, but can you maybe take a step back and talk about the remarkable achievement this team has done just by getting to this point without losing once?
Well, it's been a great run, but none of that matters unless we can finish, the job with this series. And we know, trust me, we know. It was 2-0 last year and we lost. So we're playing an unbelievably good, competitive team, dominant team. They have, 2-3 losses the whole playoffs. Now we got to go back there. This is where the series changed last year. We're just trying to think about the next game.
Al, last question, back right.
Al Sarasovic, San Francisco Chronicle. Welcome back, Coach.
Thank you.
LeBron James, amazing night tonight. Can you talk a little bit about his play and what you may be able to do in Cleveland to try to stop him?
Oh, we've got a plan in Cleveland. We're going to shut him down. We got this great plan that for sure is going to just completely stop him. I don't know what you do with him. He's one of the great players of all time. We all know that. I think he's playing better than he's ever played. And you just do your best. You kind of know that he's going to dominate the game, and you try to do. There's certain spots on the floor that we have rules, and you try to give that stuff to the players, but they just got to do their best and see what happens.
Is it really more about limiting his teammates then?
Well, I was pleased with our three-point defense, and that's important. This team really thrives on making threes, and we held them to 8 for 29, and that was key. But they went smaller. They had shooters all over the floor. They didn't play their two bigs together that often, which opened up the game. And LeBron was so determined to get downhill to the rim. Right from the beginning, you could see the force that he brought to the game. And when he's like that, not a whole lot you can do. All right,
Thanks,
thank you.
LeBron finishing with 29 points, 14 assists, 11 rebounds, 12 of 18 from the floor. Now defensively, Golden State with success against LBJ, shooting 63% in this series when the primary defender on the shooter is LeBron James, 17 of 27 from the field. Going to get back out to the Bay Area, Michael Wilbon. He's out there right now. Sean Livingston had 10.
Sean Livingston, 2-0 series lead. Was there pressure to win one for Steve Kerr? You guys get Steve Kerr back on the bench. When did you know, did it feel any different than all these games that he's been out there?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I found out before the game, and just the static, that was probably, you know, the word I would use, how I felt. Just to see him back out there, knowing that he loves to be in the trenches with us, and he's feeling better, more importantly. So it was good to have him back today.
So you got a bump out of this as a team.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, it gave us the energy, knowing that we had our leader back. You know, it was a comfort zone for us as well.
You guys are up 2-0 in this series with it moving to Cleveland. You were up 2-0 coming off a blowout last year when the series moved to Cleveland. Does it feel any different this time around?
Absolutely. It does, because of the fact that we lost last year, so we have to stay locked in. You know, that's the message to our team right now is we've been here before, and we've been up before. So we know what it feels like to lose a series being up 2-0. So we need to make sure we're staying locked in.
Kevin Durant, one of the few stars on either one of these teams that does not have a championship ring. What is KD like? Is a sense of urgency? Is it him as usual? What is he like to be around now that he came here to get this ring and you guys are halfway there?
Yeah, he's been great. Just, you know, playing championship caliber basketball on both ends of the floor. I think defensively for me, he's been more impressive than offensively, and that's crazy to say.
The 5 block shots tonight.
Exactly, and more importantly, I think changing shots at the rim as well. You know, so he's been great, and you can tell he's hungry to win, just like all of us, and staying locked in.
How do you wind up scoring 132 points in the NBA final?
We're potent. When we get out and we're, you know, taking care of the ball, which we didn't do as well tonight, and still scored 132 points, we're potent. We got guys that can score and put it up in numbers. Defensively is the key, though. We get secure the rebound, stay locked in, and push the pace.
All right, Sean, thanks for coming by, stopping by for a second. We'll see you in Cleveland. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Mike.
You wonder if Cleveland will make any big changes going into Game 3 as a head coach. Would you do anything? If this was hockey, you'd change goalies, you'd dress a different guy, you start Shumpert instead of J.R. Smith, because J.R. Smith's been poor so far.
Yeah, but I think they need JR. They need the offense. Shump
but he's not shooting.
I hear you, but Shump gave him a lot of good defense tonight. So, yeah, I can see more minutes for Shump. The guy they got to get going, Booch, is Tristan, because Tristan controls the boards for them, and he's basically been invisible. And I'm not sure you can go small and beat the Warriors. That's almost like trying to beat them at their game.
Because of Durant.
Now, again, when Tristan's playing the way he's playing and they don't have any other bigs to put on the floor, try to play Channing Frye a little bit more tonight. But Channing, he struggles when the game gets small. So lose Carpet.